So the teller of this story doesn't mind me telling you the juicy details of this particular story. So story time of how my husband ended our marriage because I was no longer giving him attention because I had just lost my dad. Story time, let's go. I and my husband we married for 3 years and we've really not been in the same space because my husband works outside the state and I remain in, like, we moved to a particular state. My husband was moved out to a particular state for work, but I remained in the state because I now work there and I didn't want to shake my life because my husband was not stable at work. I mean, that's the procedure at work, but I didn't want to move my job. I loved where I worked, I loved the friends I've made there, and I did not intend to move. And my husband had issues at work, financial issues, and he was at home for a month before I had lost my dad. My dad has been sick for the past 6 months, and I've been the one footing the bill. Now, the bills I've been footing for my family, my siblings, we no longer have a mom. For my family, my dad's health, my siblings, do not even affect my account. Do not affect how much I bring to my family. Do not affect how much I drop in my husband's house, in our house. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm saying this to just clear the future air you guys are going to have saying, oh, maybe it was affecting your home. Maybe you didn't like that you guys were not getting enough. No. We're getting more than enough. There was more than enough to go around. I was doing my due diligence to my siblings and my family because God has blessed me and I had to show up and show out for my family. My husband too was not obvious that we're going through any financial issue from my husband's side because I was covering up for my husband. Now, my husband is a very good person. He does a lot of things for me when he was financially buoyant until this particular issue. But nobody knew because I was fit enough to cover up for my husband. Now, my dad was sick. My dad died at June. At June, I had to move into my family's house in another state. Now, let's say my family stays in Ondo State. My husband works in Delta State and I was based in Lagos State. So I had to move to Ondo State to take care of my siblings, to check out burial rights, to get things for burial. Now, my siblings and I were really hurt by my dad's death because we had lost our mom like 2 years ago. And then the death of my mom affected the health of my dad and the death of my dad. So we're literally in a very rough space. I'm saying it very easy now because, it's been years and I've been very okay. And I'm very okay to share the story of how my marriage ended. And this is me sharing my story. So the death of my dad really affected us, my siblings. I remember that our last child could not even speak. She was quiet. She was mute for 2 weeks straight. And that's how bad it was because when we lost our mom, it was just our dad we had. And I was very busy. My husband was still at work. He didn't come to perform husband-in-law rights. He didn't do anything. I was giving excuses. Oh, because I don't have a brother. So my husband was supposed to stand in for my father as the son of my father because he got married to me. He's not like a family. And my husband was nowhere to be found. And that was how the whole thing just kept going. Oh, my husband is busy. My husband is that. And me on the other side, I was very busy here, gathering everything for my siblings. I have younger siblings. Gathering everything for my father. I do not want to, give the impression that because we don't have a brother, we cannot foot the bill. We cannot do right. We were able to do right. We were able to show up and show out for my father and my mom. My mom's people, God bless them. They were so helpful. And this period of 3 months that I was preparing for my dad's burial, my husband kept complaining, oh, you no longer pick my calls. You no longer call me. You don't do this. You don't do that. Me thinking it was just my husband being a princess because he's a cute man. I was saying, oh, this was happening. I will fill you in. I'm filling you in. But he was still complaining. He was still complaining that, oh, I no longer come to Delta State to do my wifey duties. Oh, he's not understanding. This particular complaint started a month after my dad had died. I stayed in Ondo State for 3 months. I was going and coming back. I was going to see my husband. I was coming back. But this complaint started a month. And you think in that first month of me losing my dad, I had not gone to fulfill my wifey duties, right? Wrong. I had gone to that to see my husband. I had gone with food. I had gone with everything. What I was thinking, maybe my husband was supposed to come see me because I was the one that had lost my dad. But no, it was the other way around. I was going to see my dad. I was going to see my husband. I was, doing my wifey duties. I was catering for him, and he was still complaining. Oh, I'm losing my touch. He's not feeling it anymore. Mind you, this is a marriage. He's not feeling it anymore. He doesn't understand what's going on. 3 months before my dad's burial, we were concluding burial rites to bury him the 4th month after he died. He had died, right? And my husband just said he was no longer interested in the marriage, that he's a out of sight, out of mind person. That's how relationship works for him. That's why he had asked me to move into his house when we were dating at that time. That's why he was always in my space. That's how love works for him. That's the 3 months that we've not, been in proper touch. Somebody that works in another state. The 3 months that we've not been in proper touch, he has lost his spark. Should we shock you, Mr. White? He said no, that he's no longer interested. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk things through. You don't want us to see a counselor. You don't want us to pray about it. He said no, he is done. He's going to send papers for me to sign. And that was the end of my marriage. It was like a dream. It was like a dream. That's how my marriage ended. So please, I've moved on. I'm healed. I don't have a child for this man. I'm in a healthy place. It's been years. I'm now in a healthy relationship. I just really wanted to share unspoken rules to life. Now, please, let me hear your opinion.